Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am Lou Mangello. Obviously, you are my friend. Thank you so much for joining me, us, our community, our family here tonight. If you are watching live, thank you for being here. Please go ahead and invite some friends to join us as well. If you're watching on the replay, please do me a favor. Make sure you join us every Wednesday right here at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Turn on notifications because you never know where and when and from where I might go live, including our Alaskan adventure, which starts in literally hours. Raise your hand if you're woefully unprepared for a cruise that you're hosting and knew was coming for more than a year. This guy, still ordering stuff from Amazon. Thank you, sweet baby Jesus, for Amazon Prime overnight shipping. Anyway, thanks to all of you who are there. David Potts liked my Spider-Man wallpaper. Clearly, I'm a huge Spider fan, if you can only guess from my wall. And there's more to come. I've got some cool stuff in my chair. Thank you, Becky Menken. So good to see so many, familiar names and faces here in the box. Sarah is on vacation in Maine. Wanted to check into the box. That's what I love about you guys. It doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, whether you're home, on the couch, walking, running, biking, whatever those exercise things are, or even sometimes when you're down here in Walt Disney World, the fact that you take time out of your day, your night, your vacation, your family to spend time with our family is the greatest blessing and reward I could ever ask for. So thank you so much. Hal Kussler, I would love for you to join us on one of our WDW radio cruises that is coming up soon. Obviously, our next one is just in a couple of days. We leave for Seattle, take the train to Vancouver, and then hop on the relatively newly reimagined Disney Wonder on Sunday? Monday? I have no idea. I have no idea when I'm getting on. I just go where they told me to go, and I just don't know because I'm frantic running around. If you couldn't see that side of the camera before, you don't want to see it now, and certainly not what's going on inside. Actually, I have not mentioned the Warner Brothers deal. We're going to talk about the Fox deal. That's what I think you're talking about in just a couple of minutes. I want to give you guys some time to get in, grab a snack, get settled. I see there's some people who are in here who are coming on the cruise with us. Brett Meeks is definitely in my top 3 of my favorite Meekses. Although your wife and I have been bonding in an awesome way, primarily over our Amazon addiction. If you haven't bought Amazon stock, you're probably too late because I think I single-handedly have moved the needle based on how much I've ordered via Amazon Prime in the last 24 to 36 hours. So what about the 3 days in November? I think that you are talking about our save the date for September. I still do not have details that I am permitted to share, and I'm always fearful that Becky Menken's going to pop in. I mean, I'm not fearful that she's going to pop in. I'm going to fearful that she'd pop in and hear me talk about it. Stephanie Perry Bullock, you do need to come on a Disney cruise. More importantly, you need to come with us because I promise you that not only does nobody have more fun with us, but doing it as a group is so much fun. Michelle Sternberg, I'm sure, can attest to that. Puerto Rico, in some respects, seems like eons ago, and in others, I remember being live, walking along the pathway by the beach, and you and Stuart and Darlene Nagy from West Seneca, New York, and her husband were there, and what a good time that we had. Luis Ramos, hello, my friend. You've got to stop sending me all those food pictures because it's keeping me up late at night, famished for all the good stuff that you're sending me from New Jersey. Nikki Keller's excited for Momentum 18. Woot. So, Nikki, I think you probably have seen the announcement that I posted today in our private Facebook group. I haven't shared it. You know what? I haven't shared it publicly yet, but maybe I'll share it tonight. Let me do that. You know what? Let me drop this in here, and I'll share with you guys first so you get a jump on everybody else. I'm going to announce not one, but 2 keynote speakers for my Momentum Weekend Workshop, October 6th and 7th, with the optional Mastermind Day after on Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to announce 2 of the keynote speakers with the rest of the speaker slate and some topics coming soon. Again, this is an event geared towards entrepreneurs, wantrepreneurs. If you have an idea, a blog, a business, a website, a brick and mortar business, and you want to really sort of move the needle and turn that thing that you love into that thing that you do, this 2-day workshop limited to just 50 people. We're actually more like we're like 70% sold out, maybe a little bit more than that. So there's less than 20 seats available. But because I love you guys and appreciate you so much, and I want you to come and be there. And if you've been to Momentum before, like Nikki and some of the others, let others. I don't want to tell you how good Momentum is. They have to tell you for you. But I will share with you, if I can find out where I just dropped it, I will share with you the announcement of our 2 keynote speakers that I haven't shared publicly as yet. And I am super excited. And I'm sure if you listen to the show, you will recognize the names of Dan Cockrell and Ashley Eckstein. So Dan Cockrell, he's not just Lee Cockrell's son. More importantly, he is Dan Cockrell, former vice president of Disney's Hollywood Studios, Epcot Center, and most recently, Magic Kingdom. He has just recently retired like a week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. He is going to talk about not just his time at Disney, but customer service and some of the lessons that he's learned in the decades he spent at Walt Disney World and in Disneyland Paris / Euro Disney, and how you can apply them into your business, into your life, so you lead actually a very balanced life, which is important. And I'm stupid excited that Ashley Eckstein is going to be joining us as well. Ashley, as you know, is not just a voice actress. She's not just the voice of Ahsoka Tano from a little thing called Star Wars. She is also an entrepreneur. She's an author. She's the founder of Her Universe. She has a new book that just came out. She's been my most recent guest on the show. She's going to share stories not just about her time at Disney, but really more importantly, her life as an entrepreneur and some of the lessons she's learned and how you can apply those and some lessons from Disney into your life and business as well. Nikki Keller says, Momentum, it is life-changing. Seriously, not over-exaggerating here. Nikki, you know I love and appreciate you, and I cannot thank you enough for such a wonderful testimonial. That's exactly what I want it to be. I want it to be a life-changing point and a weekend that you'll be able to look back on as, you know, a place where you pivoted, a place where you make a real difference, make real relations. You don't just hear speakers and listen and learn and take notes, but you start to take real action on that thing that you love to make it that thing that you do. So again, Stephen Conti says Momentum is a game changer. Go if you can. I appreciate it, as well as all your nice comments about, look, I love, not in a weird, creepy way, Ashley Eckstein for so many reasons. And I admire her and what she has done and what she has built solely out of a passion and out of a want and out of a need. It was never driven by, you know, fame or money. It's driven by a love of what she does, and now wanting to share that with other people. She is very much going out of her way, and I'm sure she'll tell you where she's going to be the night before to be there for Momentum. So Dan and Ashley are going to be our keynote speakers. Super excited. If you go to LouMangello.com/momentum, the early bird special I've actually extended to July 11th, so you'll save a ton of money by registering early. And again, there's less than 20 seats available. If you have any more questions, feel free to shoot me an email or a message on Facebook. And that is the end. I don't like feeling like I'm selling, but I just need to share, and I wanted to share with you guys. Stephanie Perry Bullock, who I love and miss so very much, is strangely, the older my kids get, the more I feel the need to work from home, hoping to come up with a good business idea, and I'll definitely be attending Momentum Weekend. Stephanie, I'm happy to get together with you, share some donuts and coffee, and try and incubate what some of those ideas might be. Again, so many of you who are in here, welcome. John Jones, your mom is still in the hospital recovering. I am thinking of you and her brother, and keeping you guys in my prayers as well. I do believe that sometimes, you know, those thoughts and prayers actually do work. But what I did want to get to tonight, because we don't have a ton of time, because you can't see what's going on over here in terms of the Alaska planning. But, Nikki, thank you. If you've been to Momentum, if you can share out information about Momentum, that's the best way to bring people in. I don't like taking ads out and placing ads. I want people to come in organically, because either they know me, they know the show, or they've heard from somebody who's been there before. I think that is the most important way to get people there, not because I placed a very, you know, highly targeted, well-worded ad. They want to be there because they've heard from other people how Momentum has made a change in their life. So Jeremy McBriar, good to see you as well. Martin, my friend from the UK, always a pleasure seeing you. But part of the reason why I wanted to make sure we went live tonight, and I'm going to want to hear from you, excuse me, if we have time and if you guys want to call in, is because as we have expected over the past couple of weeks, business sometimes gets a little muddy, and sometimes dominoes start to fall. And today, as expected, the AT&T-Time Warner mega merger was approved. What that means, and more importantly, it was approved without any conditions. And what that means for the Disney-Fox deal, again, Disney has Disney and Fox have already agreed to a $52.5 or so billion all-stock deal. But now, because of what's happened with the AT&T-Time Warner deal, Comcast has come in, as expected, to outbid Disney for Fox. They have come in with an incredible $65 billion, with a B, all-cash deal. Okay, well, and we'll get to the importance and the distinction between the all-cash and the all-stock and why it might not be as much of a fait accompli as you might think. Comcast had put, let's back up a second. Comcast had put a bid in for Fox before Disney last year, but Fox went with Disney for a variety of reasons. I think Rupert Murdoch and Bob Iger have a relationship. I also think that there was a fear that maybe the Comcast deal would be blocked because of antitrust laws and things like that. But now it's going to really come down to which company, Fox or Disney, Comcast or Disney, is going to offer the Fox shareholders the best possible deal, because the announcement had to come from Fox today after the AT&T Time Warner deal was announced without any conditions. They had to not only make their bid, but obviously the Fox had to share that with its shareholders. So their Fox and the shareholders are obligated to consider it, even though it's coming in less than a month. I mean, basically about 2 weeks away before the Fox shareholders are set to vote on the Disney offer that's come in. So, and this doesn't come as a surprise to Disney. Let's be clear. Disney knew this was coming. Disney has already made preparations for what they were anticipating was going to be a much higher offer that was also going to be structured a little bit differently. So this doesn't come as a shock for everybody. In dollars and cents, what does it mean, right? So there's a total cash value, right? So again, the Comcast deal is all cash. The Disney deal is all stock. You would think initially as a shareholder you want to take the cash. Cash is king. I'm not so sure, because stocks might be queen, and the queen, we all know, rules the castle. So what I think as a Fox shareholder they're going to consider is, because the Comcast deal is all cash in hand, while the Disney is an all stock deal, based on Disney's history, there is a very, very good chance that the Disney stock is going to increase in value. So overall, it may be a better deal for the Fox shareholders to take the all stock deal, which obviously they can cash out anytime. Take the all stock deal, sort of expecting that to increase in value over time. And I see your comments coming in. We'll definitely comment to this. I want you guys to call in as that as well. So look, there's lots of reasons why, we've talked about this in the past, why Disney wants this deal to go through, because of the properties. As a Marvel fan, in case you can't tell, there's lots of reasons why we as fans want this to happen. We're talking about Fantastic Four, we're talking about X-Men, we're talking about Deadpool and Spider-Man getting together. It's like an Oreo cookie. I can't get too excited because it's not obviously a fait accompli as well. There is lots of other language that will have to be waded through in terms of this deal, because there is a pre-existing agreement between Fox and Disney going back to the mid-'90s in terms of the licensing, and we don't know what it says about the transfer of some of these rights. So, for example, if the Disney-Fox deal if the Marvel Fox deal from the 90s prohibits a transfer of the licensing, whether it's by purchase or acquisition or anything else, there could be an issue about Fantastic Four and X-Men and some of these other characters being folded into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. None of us know what that language clearly states. We won't know really until this deal gets voted on. And I know some people already, if you are a Fox shareholder, you have already received a huge, monstrously sized package outlining the details of this agreement. So it'll be very interesting to see how this is going to play out in terms of where the Fox shareholders decide to go. I know nothing. Obviously, I have a feeling that Murdoch, who owns, I believe, about 17 or 18% of shareholder voting, wants to go with a Disney deal for a variety of different reasons. I think as a Fox shareholder, and maybe this is me trying to sway the Fox shareholders, I think as a Fox shareholder, you might be more inclined to take the all-stock deal because it's Disney, as opposed to a company that might be there might be more fluctuation in terms of the short and long-term gains. So you might be more inclined to take the Disney deal because it might mean more cash in hand, not necessarily right now, but possibly in the short or long-term future. Amber Bramwell says, don't they know everything Disney does turns into gold and more gold? That is not that far from the truth. I'm trying to go back on some of your questions. Harlan says, the Disney Fox deal would offer more entertainment possibilities. Absolutely. As a Disney fan, as a Marvel fan, this is the deal that I want to happen. To have X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool, and all the other characters that right now are over in the Fox universe come and being able to be folded into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially as we are entering Phase 4 with Avengers 4 and everything that is to come, and all this time travel that's starting to happen. Can we? Would we? Oh, Kevin Feige, can we please get a Fantastic Four movie that deserves to be made the right way? Can we finally see Doctor Doom and the Silver Surfer? Can we see Deadpool being folded into some of these things? Can we see sort of a rebirth of Wolverine and the hundreds, if not thousands, of other characters that Fox may have received the licensing rights to back in the mid-90s, 94, 95, somewhere around there? We also start to wonder how this can and will affect Disney's ability to bring those characters into the domestic theme parks. We know already that they're coming to Disney California Adventure, but I have a feeling in my little Marvel super fanboy gut that this is something that has been on Bob Iger's radar for a long, long time. Timing is everything, and at this time is appropriate. I think Universal, and I've been saying this for years, I think Universal is not necessarily happy about having the licensing rights to characters as they existed at Universal Studios Orlando in their comic book form. So Spider-Man, Wolverine, the X-Men, Green Goblin look nothing like what we are seeing on screen today. So especially for younger and newer Marvel Cinematic Universe and movie fans, there's very much of a disconnect. They have to open up their books. They have to share and disclose financials to Disney because of the licensing agreement. Universal is running out of space while they're acquiring more intellectual properties themselves. They're sitting on a gold mine in terms of prime real estate inside Islands of Adventure, which they could use to no longer be really honestly promoting Disney characters, right? Disney and Marvel characters, but instead IP that they own, they don't license 100% on their own. If they don't sell the shares after receiving them, there's no capital gain, that's no taxation. I am not a tax attorney, nor do I know how to balance my checkbook, so I cannot answer that question in terms of what it means from a tax perspective. But I think from a financial perspective, if I am a Fox shareholder, I might be more inclined not to necessarily take, the bigger offer right now, but instead hedge my bets, play the market, and look at history to see how Disney stock has increased. They're clearly on an economic roll. I think there's a lot more to consider than just the cash. And look, let's be honest too. This move by Comcast may be made with the intent not just necessarily to try and buy the Fox properties that are sort of out in the marketplace now, but clearly it's a move to mess with Disney, right? Clearly it's a move to stall, to make shareholders second guess, to make Disney pay more to acquire the Fox properties. I think Disney has been expecting this all along. Again, like I said, it doesn't come as a complete surprise. So it's almost more of an offensive and defensive move by Comcast just to make things more difficult, just to throw another wrench, to slow down the process, and to make Disney pay potentially not just one or two, but even $5 to $10 billion more than they had already planned to pay in the past. Again, I think that Iger's had his checkbook ready. I think that they already have a plan in place in terms of how to structure a new deal and new offer. I think Rupert Murdoch, and again, I don't know Rupert Murdoch, but I have to believe that this is the deal that he wants to happen because they originally did not go with a Comcast bid years ago. I would love to hear from you guys in terms of what you think about this offer. I would love to take some calls from you guys. If you want to call in, 407-413-WDW1. I'd love to take some calls. Hear your thoughts on the Comcast bid and your thoughts about the Disney-Fox merger. We'll take calls for just a few minutes here just to get your thoughts. Let's see. Some people still forget that Fox still owns Star Wars Episode 4. You're absolutely right. Where would Comcast take Fox? How would they push the entertainment envelope? I don't think that's their intent. I think this is absolutely an intent to, yes, if it works, great. But Disney, you want this Fox deal, you're going to pay, and you're going to pay hard. Richard Bentley says, $10 billion, give shops make that up in a week. Amazon made that this week on me alone with all the Amazon Prime shipping that I'm doing. If Disney removed from the equation, would you rather see Fox sell to Comcast or another company or stay as it is? What would it mean for Deadpool and other IPs? Tommy, I think it really does depend on where it goes because I don't think Fox has been handling the Marvel characters appropriately in a lot of the movies to date. Let's take a call real quick. Hey, it's Lou. You're on the air. Oh, wait a minute.
Nikki, how are you?
I'm sorry. Now it's Lou. You're on the air.
Oh, well, it's still Nikki. How are you?
Well, hello, Nikki. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm totally jealous of you cruise people. Everybody have a fabulous time.
We are going to miss you. And I promise you, because I'm a giver and I love and care about you, I will eat your share while I'm on board. So it's going to be like you're there anyway without all the extra calories.
Exactly. Eat double my share, actually. That'd be awesome.
Will do.
Okay, so I really can't disagree with anything you've said. I think two main things are, if you can make your competition pay more, why wouldn't you?
Sure.
So I could definitely see them just bumping it up. And the all cash makes sense when you're trying to make your competition pay more. But if everybody really thinks about it, I can't imagine that they wouldn't go with the stock from Disney. Because as soon as Disney acquires the rest of Marvel, can you imagine how much the stock is going to go up?
Yeah.
Considering what Disney's already done with the IP and what it can do. So I think it's just, make your competition pay more for it, and Disney will have to sweeten their deal a little bit. But at the end of the day, I think Disney wins.
I think everything you said is 100% correct. I think Comcast, it's like a no-lose situation for them. we're either going to get it and then we'll do whatever we're going to do and probably definitely not do as good of a job with Disney with these characters. I'm not sure this is the business Comcast wants to be in. So you know what?
Right.
We're going to make it a little bit more difficult for you. We're going to make you pay a little or a lot more for it. And at the very least, we're going to confuse and slow down the process. So when I believe that the vote is July 11th, somewhere around there. It's going to give people something else to think about, because for some people they see $10 billion more in cash and they're like, yeah, that's not a bad deal.
Well, and also with Comcast not being in a lose situation, they're in a win-win. If for some reason the stockholders actually decide to go for the all cash, then they can turn around and whatever the terms of the deal is, they could probably sell Marvel to Disney, and they're winning there too.
Yeah, I think if Comcast for some reason wins this, I don't think that their intent. And obviously, look, I know nothing. I'm very much speculating.
Right.
I don't think they plan on, we want to become a movie studio now, and this is the business we want to be in. I think they would break apart a lot of the pieces of the Fox puzzle that would be coming in as part of the deal.
Exactly. I think they are just the ones with the chutzpah to come in and make Disney pay for it. So,
yeah, I was
going to
come in with a deal too, but I just couldn't come up with the cash. I didn't have the $60 billion in cash. So
maybe you'll find something really awesome in Alaska that you can put down.
Like gold, maybe.
I just want to say, everyone, you need to consider momentum either this year or next year, because it really, really, truly is really life-changing and changing not only for what you want to do for your life for fun, but it grows your confidence and you just learn so much. So thank you for doing it, Lou, and I owe you.
Oh, thank you. Look, I love you to death, and when I come back from Alaska, we're going to get together and have lunch or coffee again.
That sounds fantastic. Be safe and have fun.
You too. Take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye. So yeah, I agree. Like I said, with everything that Nikki said, the Murdoch, Joe Carey, you're right. The Murdochs own about, I believe it's 18% of the Fox shares. And look, I believe that the relationship between Murdoch and Iger is very much instrumental in making this deal happen as well. So maybe the money is in the chair that Becky got you. I don't know. It's a big chair. It's not that. Maybe Lou should cut back on 1 or 2 boathouse trips per week. Maybe I can get Steve Schlussler to invest. Me and Steve could make a bid for Fox as well. So let's take a couple more calls. Again, I'm going to do a relatively short show. I really do want to hear, though, your thoughts on this. If you are a Fox shareholder, I would love to hear what you thought. More importantly, what the package you received in the mail yesterday or today looks like. From what I've heard from secondary and tertiary sources, it's voluminous in terms of the details of what the offer from Comcast looks like. Obviously, it's not as simple as here's $65 billion in cash. There's a lot more to it. So, Melanie Jones, thank you so much for the plugs on Momentum. I am so happy for and so proud of you. Like all the love and the support for everything that happened to you over the weekend. And thank you for sharing not just your photos, but your what if sign that you brought to Don. So, Jim Leinert, I agree with you. The Marvel properties will be a much better investment for Disney. And look, I think as a Marvel fan, whose hands do you feel more comfortable the Marvel properties being in? Who has had a better track record of producing quality movies, not that have just done well at the box office, but really have resonated with fans, whether they are hardcore comic book fans or people who have become fans of the comics and the characters because of what the Marvel Cinematic Universe has done. I think on the opposite side, Fox hasn't been able to make a good Marvel movie. They've blown it time after time, time after time after time after time, 3 times on Fantastic Four. X-Men went downhill very, very quickly. Some of the other even the Spider-Man movies that they tried to make, they're just not hitting it. And look what Marvel has done in the past decade, the past 19 films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Whose care do you want those characters to be? And really, whose world do you want them to live in? Do you want to live in this separate world where you pretend that the MCU doesn't exist? Or more importantly, do you want them to all exist in this same universe together? So I agree. I think it makes more sense from a character integrity perspective as well as a financial. And forgive me, I just realized I missed a couple of calls. Let's see. All these talks about the stocks, deals, and trades. I feel like I'm watching episode 1, right? The trade federations and all that kind of stuff. I agree with you as well, Stan Solo, and can't wait to see you when you get there. Wonder what will happen with The Simpsons and Universal. Steve, that's the thing. I think that these properties that are currently owned by Fox and Universal that maybe, look, I think they don't want to do it with the Disney ones. They don't want to do it with the Simpsons ones. There is an opportunity for some of those things to now exist in a Disney world instead of a Universal world where now they have to even, show and share more of their revenue because they just have a licensing agreement with Disney. So if you have any thoughts on the Marvel, Comcast, Fox thing that is going on, you can call in 407-413-WDW1. Comcast has a $30 billion bid for the 61% of Sky that Fox does not own. And Jim, I think that's where their intent primarily lies. I don't think they want the Marvel properties. I think they want the other stuff. I think they want the Hulu. I think they want the Sky. I think they want maybe some of the sports. To that end, I think Disney doesn't want some of that stuff. I think Comcast wants some of the things that Disney would get as part of the Fox deal that necessarily they don't want. I think Disney wants, or I think they should want, to offload a lot of the sports-related stuff because it's not in their wheelhouse. ESPN is hemorrhaging money for a variety of different reasons. Get rid of that, sell that to somebody like a Comcast who's already in that business, who's already playing that game, and could honestly probably do it better than Disney would be able to do if they started to dip their toes into the waters. Rita, you know what? I think you're right. We don't know Stan Lee, but I think we know Stan Lee. I think Stan Lee would want these characters to go with Disney. I think that's why George Lucas agreed to the $4 billion. It seems like $4 billion for Lucasfilm now seems like chump change. It's like stuff. It's money Disney found in the sofa. But I think Stan, before he passes, we see he's getting frail in his old age. I think he would love to see these characters, these stories, in the care of the best storytellers on earth, and that's Disney. And as a Marvel fan, that is part of the reason why I want to see it as well. Timothy is sitting in California Adventure right now. He's waiting for the Guardians Max Pass to become ripe. I dig it, man. I love me some Guardians of the Galaxy, and you're just steps away from the Cozy Cone. It's even better. So, we had a Spider-Man come up to my girls yesterday. It sounded like, oh my God, I have such a crush on Tom Holland. It's so awesome, yet kind of weird all at the same time. So, Stan Lee would sell to Stark. No, I think Stan Lee would sell to Disney. And I'm watching Stan on Twitter to see, and I don't know what he is allowed to say or do. I don't know what his stock obligations are as a shareholder, or what he has or doesn't have. But I would love to hear his completely honest, unjaded, I created these characters. This is where I'd like to see them go. Opinion, hopefully before this deal goes through. He's got, a couple of weeks, 4 weeks or so until the June 10th, June 11th Fox vote on where they're going to go and what direction. And I think things, this is the first volley that has come out. We have not heard Disney's response as yet. So this landscape, this story is going to change a lot, I think, over the next couple of weeks. I will be paying very close attention to this as it happens. Yes, even while I'm stuffing my face in Alaska. Stan Lee would love Spider-Man to be owned by Disney. Jim, I agree with you. let's see. Tower of Terror is going to become Nakatomi Tower. Let's see. Nick says, so look, man, I'm all about this, but I'm about the food. When are they going to release the food and wine festival menus? I think it's going to happen probably in the next couple of weeks. I know some folks who are working backstage on food and wine stuff. I have seen and heard a few things that are not, it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year for Fat Lou. Bodied by Baymax right here, and Bodied by Food and Wine Festival. It is the most wonderful time of year between flower and garden and food and wine. The stuff is fascinating to me. Seeing how I have zero business smarts, Jim, I am as well. So I come at this not from a stockholder perspective. I come at it from a fan perspective. First and foremost, Chris Edinger says, Fox has a bad Marvel track record. Comcast has no track record. Disney has made Marvel the most profitable cinematic IP ever. Chris, you hit it right on the nose. And I think if you are a Fox shareholder, you need to take that into consideration. Look, if you're getting the cash, you don't necessarily care. But if you are, and I'm assuming that you own these stocks because you're an enthusiast, you do care about what happens to these characters and what happens to these stories and whose care they get into. William says, Fox should sell itself off piecemeal. Parts are probably more valuable than the whole. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. And when you're talking about numbers like this, you wonder how many more billions of dollars in difference it could make and it would make. $65 billion is a lot of money, even when you got to share that among hundreds of thousands of shareholders. So I hope that at some point Disney might try to buy the DC extended universe. Marcus, I hope that they do, only to just bury it out back like all the Atari ET cartridges from the 80s. Again, I'm more of, obviously I'm a biased Marvel guy, but as I've wanted to like the DC films and I just can't. They're missing something in terms of heart, in terms of storytelling. There's an unquantifiable essence to those films that just doesn't have that magic that Marvel has. And I will wave my Kevin Feige fanboy flag hard and fast every day. And I think it's due in large part to Kevin Feige and the team that he has surrounded himself. So, let's see. Massive amounts are being stocked. Let's see. Let me just catch up here a little bit. So Jordan says, has Fox ever seen how much Avengers Infinity War is made? It could be their gold mine for both Fantastic Four and the X-Men. It could look, more importantly, it's a gold mine for us as enthusiasts. One of the original Fantastic Four movies was on last night. I had DVR'd. I was watching it at 2:00 in the morning when I was finally going to bed, and I wanted that movie to be so good, and I was trying to figure out what it was that it was lacking. It wasn't. It's got Captain America. It's got Chris Evans, who's phenomenal. He's so funny, so witty as Johnny Storm. I love Jessica Alba for lots of obvious reasons. I love the character of Doctor Doom, but there was something about who they are from the comics that didn't translate well into the film. It didn't have the heart, the soul, the heroism that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has, while still being fun and funny and entertaining and easily accessible for somebody who might not be a hardcore fan. But I know Stan Lee would be, again, not knowing Stan Lee, but I think Stan Lee would be very happy to see the Fantastic Four get the film that they deserve and get the cinematic relationships in play that they deserve as well. So, David Potts says, bury it like the old ET cartridges. Lines like that are the reasons why I have so much respect for you. David Potts, I'm so happy that somebody got that relatively obscure burying the cartridges reference. And there's a really great documentary, by the way, about that on Netflix. Forgive me that I can't remember what it is. So, but look, it is a very interesting time as a fan. If you are a Fox shareholder, you've got a lot to consider. But I think, again, if you are a Marvel enthusiast, if you're a Disney enthusiast, I think it's a no-brainer. And I, for one, would take that bet of the Disney stock over the cash in hand. Wayne exists about Fantastic Four. Would love to see that happen, especially as the Marvel Cinematic Universe is starting to turn a very important page in their storytelling arcs. This is the perfect time to integrate Deadpool, Fantastic Four, some of the other characters, greater and lesser known, that could come into the new Avengers, the Secret Wars, different Guardians of the Galaxy, much as they had done there. And so Joe Carey says, I think that awesome would be to have Doctor Doom in the MCU. It's the one thing Marvel Cinematic Universe is lacking is quality villains. I don't think they're lacking quality villains. I think there's a deliberate choice in terms of the way they are telling the story. But you're right. To have Doctor Doom, I mean, look, and even if they can figure out a way to appropriately cross over into what's happening on the Netflix shows, soon to be the Disney streaming channel shows, so that you can get villains like a Kingpin in there, so you can maybe bring Daredevil into these stories that are taking place in New York, in Queens, and in Brooklyn. There's the new Spider-Man animated film that is coming out, Into the Spider-Verse, coming in December, which, believe it or not, from my first viewing of the trailer, and the first 10 viewings of the trailer, I think Into the Spider-Verse looks better than any of the Spider-Man films, the pre-MCU Spider-Man films that were made earlier. Because look, I wanted to love Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man, oy vey, Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3, but, the Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock, it wasn't bad, but this animated film actually has me more excited. But I would love to just see what is going to happen. The next couple of weeks are going to be very, very interesting, and there's going to be a lot of big numbers being thrown around again, at a scale we have not seen as yet. And I think because the AT&T-Time Warner deal was approved the way it was, with zero conditions, that's the reason why we're having this conversation. Because it was approved with zero conditions, I think that is what is going to make this all very, very interesting. And again, there's so much more that we're talking about beyond Marvel in terms of the other franchises that are part of Fox, whether it's, like people saying, Simpsons, Alien, Avatar, and the hundreds and hundreds of other films and properties that are part of the Fox world right now. I would love to continue to hear your thoughts on this, especially as this continues. If you are not a member of our Box People family, please, please, please go to wdwradio.com/boxpeople. That is our Facebook group, where really I would like the conversations to not just continue, but to start there as well. The one thing I love about Facebook groups is that everybody exists on equal footing. You all have an equal voice. So if there's something that you want to talk about, come on in, make yourself at home, grab a snack, and share your thoughts in the Box People group. More importantly, invite people in to be part of our family as well. Don't forget to save the date. I will have an announcement relatively soon about what is coming later on this year in September. And huge, monstrous thanks again to all of you who are part of the WDW Radio Nation family. I appreciate all of your love and support. I am working on some cool new things for the nations in terms of offerings. But if you like the show, and I hope that you do, and you want to help support it, visit www.radionation.com, and you get cool stuff like scavenger hunts, there's logo gear, care packages. We do live video group calls privately in the nation where we're all on a video call once a month as well. You also get early access to event, special discounts, special merch, and more. And also don't forget about Momentum 2018, October 6th and 7th, right here in Walt Disney World. Oh, by the way, it's Food and Wine Festival. I'm super excited to announce my friends Dan Cockrell and Ashley Eckstein as our keynote speakers. There are now less than 20 seats available. There's only 50 spots total, so you are not going to get lost in a sea of people at a conference of presentations. You will instead be in a small community of like-minded people that are walking the same walk that you are and want to turn what they love into what they do. If you have any questions, shoot me a message, shoot me an email. Don't forget that on Sunday, Monday, somewhere around there, I'm leaving on the Disney Wonder with so many of you to Alaska. I will be live broadcasting when and if I can, not just from the ship, but from the port as well. So be sure and turn on notifications and see first, both in the Box People group and on the WDW Radio Facebook page. This way you don't miss anything. And once again, I love and appreciate every single one of you collectively as my family, but more importantly, I love you individually, and I'm grateful to you and for you for the gift that you give me every week of your time and your attention and your support, and the family that you have given me that I just didn't have elsewhere or otherwise. I love you guys. I hope that you have an amazing, amazing week. I will continue to look for you guys. Whoa, I don't know what just happened there. In the Box People group on Facebook. My camera just died. So until then, I will see you guys soon. Have a great night. Have a great week. See ya.